Sometimes we pick up cars locally, just half hour from here or something like that, and other times we have to drive a couple hours or more to go find a car. One of our field trips was down to Oakland, Oregon, and a guy named Brian, and we pull up here and oh my gosh, there are cars all over this guy's hillside, back in the trees and whatnot, and what an adventure this was, meeting this guy.
It used to be I would cruise around all the back roads when I was growing up and looking for old Mopars. That's how I found my 70 Charger. But these days with the internet, those days are gone. So for me to be able to get out of the shop, go down and see my friend and check out the rest of his cars, I think it's just a fun day.
Testing, testing. My name is Brian Renfro. I'm selling a 1969 Charger RT 444-speed track pack car to Mark today.
So I've been trying to buy this little 69 Charger RT from the first time I saw it. A friend of mine down in Oakland, Oregon had that car. He's got a bunch of cars, but this was the one I really have been hounding him to sell me.
I did buy the car from a friend a number of years ago and did a bunch of work to it, drove it for a little while, had a good time with it, and then one thing led to another and I had to basically park everything, so it's been sitting for a number of years.
So one thing about Brian is he's got quite a few acres in a very hard to find area. You got the tag in the house, right?
Yes, sir, yeah. I do.
I got a picture of it.
All right.
These cars, all of them, you would never see them from the highway, period. They're hidden. And there are still places around the country like that. There just aren't a lot of them left in Oregon. Pretty solid, pretty clean. Doesn't look like it was ever stuffed. Rails look nice. Where'd this car come out of, Brian?
If I recall, it came from Sweet Home originally.
Oh.
So I suspect that the original engine probably ended up at the Albany swap meet.
So this little Charger is a real-life XS29L car. That means that it's an RT and that it's a 440 Magnum. It's a D21, which is the call-out for the 4-speed. But you got the numbers transmission, has a busted ear on the thing.
It's over here.
Okay.
The one thing I did manage to save.
That's great.
Yeah, that happens.
It's actually a pretty well-optioned little car. Now, it doesn't have everything a guy might want in one, but it does have the more important things in it. So like the N85, the factory tachometer. Is this a factory N85 car? I can't remember. I don't.
I think so.
Is it a tack car? Oh, good.
It is a tack car, yes.
Is it an AM/FM?
No.
Somebody added an AM/FM radio to the car. It's a factory AM/FM, but it's not the one that started life in that car. The car is coded for an R11, which is an AM-only radio. So I'll put one of those back in it, and I'll have that in inventory for somebody who does have that option.
Where's the shifter?
I've sold him a few Challengers. I sold him a police car at one point, a 1970 Fury 440 police car. If I recall, it belonged to Lane County Sheriff's Department.
I like that.
Headliner's decent. It has the L31 turn signal indicators. It is a bucket seat car. That's really cool.
Hey, Mark, there's the shifter.
I had to make it fit.
Well, this doesn't look very factory to me.
No, it's not.
Oh.
Which is why I had to make it fit.
Yeah, I like it though.
Oh, that looks familiar.
Yeah.
It was never quite in the right spot because you would bust your knuckles on the dash when you shifted it hard.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's the way they were. Pistol grips were even worse.
Uh-huh.
Get all your knuckles,
Hand it to this guy in the back and he would shift it into third gear for you.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah. This is an A33 car, so it uses the 354 Dana behind the 4-speed. You either got the A33 or the A34 behind a 444 speed in that year car anyway. Got a little bit of rust right here. Depends how it is when it comes out of the dipper. You know, sometimes you can just put a small piece in right here. Sometimes you got to put the quarter on. The AMD quarters are good if you put them on all the way up and you pre-fit everything like you're supposed to. Rear body panel has a little crusties in it. That's okay.
These factory welds up here, Mark?
Yeah, I think so. There's two things on that car that are disappointing to me. The original engine's gone. It's not the end of the world, but it does affect the end value of these cars. The other thing is it's not coded for a stripe. It's actually stripe delete. So that means it didn't get the cool Bumblebee stripe that it could have got. Instead, it has the badges that call out RT on each quarter panel.
I don't know if you remember Dan Perkins or not,
Yeah.
but I got this from him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I bought that 70 Charger from him.
Yeah.
That burnt orange black top car.
Yeah.
Well, we got some more Mopars to look at, I guess.
Sure.
All right. Well, let's go take a look at this glorious collection. 72 Challenger.
72 Challenger Rally.
Rally 340 automatic numbers matching.
For
least
the
the
most part,
engine.
yes, the engine is.
This is cool. It's an original FY1 top banana yellow, black top, black interior, 340, numbers matching except for the transmission on it, but not necessarily at the top of my pecking order. But for somebody out there that was looking for a 72 Challenger Rally, I think this would make a really good one for them.
A lot of it is just stuff that I've tripped over time. I've come across it and it was at a reasonable price, so I picked it up. Some of it is stuff like the yellow Challenger. I got that from an old wrecking yard in Cottage Grove. It was sitting way out in the back, buried in the brush. And so I pulled it out of the brush, myself and a friend of mine, we loaded it on his trailer, and it ended up getting a bunch of body work done to it. If I recall, it had a manual shift valve body, which I had to fix a little bit so it wouldn't do that anymore. I threw a different transmission in it and drove it for a number of years, and like everything else, I had to park it.
Take a look under the hood there. Here we go. Got it.
Got it.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Boy, that looks pretty darn original. You drove this car for years.
I did.
I saw it all over Springfield when I was younger, when we were younger.
It needed some different shocks on the front of it, but this thing handled pretty darn good. The Challenger, as far as driving, was actually my favorite car. It handled really well, considering the size of it. It did real good. The Charger was fun if you wanted to point it in a straight line and spin the tires. It was good for that. Which one would be the favorite? That would be the Challenger. I drove that a lot of miles, and it was really comfortable.
I've known Brian for probably 20 or 25 years. He used to work at a shop out here in Springfield. That's where I first met him. Always been a Mopar guy. This is actually where I've showed you the hood that came off of a 70 Challenger, a flat hood that was purple and slight damage in the front. That was the one I got from Brian that he got from Butch when Butch passed away. He went down and
gosh.
Butch held on to the hood from 1978 when I helped him put the hood on the car. Everybody knows that I bought my Dodge Charger from Butch Peterson. I was 16 years old and he needed help. And I loved hanging out with him and hanging out on cars, so I was kind of his little helper. And one of the first things that I did was to install a used K-member in a 1970 Dodge Challenger 318. Also, the hood was stuffed on it. And at the time he had found, this was a plumb crazy car, he found a perfect flat FC7 hood that we could just bolt on there and not have to do any paint work to. Well, when I went up to Brian's right after my friend Butch passed away, and I was talking to Brian, he said that he bought out a lot of stuff that was at Butch's house. Right there in this pile of rubbish was the hood I unbolted off the 1970 Challenger when I was 16 years old. The first official hood I ever took off of a car. So I asked him if I could have it for old time's sake, and he let me have it. So I still have that hood out back. The car that jumped out at me is the 71 Fury, four-door, white, 318, and I have bought some cars from him over the years. I bought a 70 Fury police car. It was a real PK car. Is it a PK car or?
No,
Oh,
it's a
PL.
318 car.
It's not a police car issue, which with the first two letters of the vehicle identification number would be PK.
Oddly enough,
PK is the police edition, so. You know, it's always fun for me to be able to take somebody like Brian, who's got a heart of gold, everybody loves Brian, and then throw him in front of a camera because they don't really want to be in front of the camera. They're doing me a solid.
yes, oddly enough, the police car that I sold you,
Yeah.
this came into the tow yard a friend of mine worked at 2 months later.
Wooden Scots, was it? It's funny because we all have tics, right? Me, I can't stop bragging. I guess that's a tic. Dougie, he dummies up and just starts repeating himself over and over again.
I have a lot of nervous tics. I don't know that dummying up is all of them.
Brian's a nervous laugher. I love you, Brian, but it's just some nervous laughing, man. This would be a good car to build into a tribute car. It's solid, it's all original, it's in good shape, It has everything on it that it started life with, so to convert that to look like a squad car would not be that difficult.
You got gophers?
I got moles. I don't think I'd call them gophers.
I don't live in the country, I live in the city. So I don't know the difference between a gopher and a mole. In all practicality, they're probably the same creature. I don't know why there would be two different ones.
Well, one's bigger, right? The gopher's a lot bigger than a mole.
Oh, wow, 60. This is your 67.
Yes.
Barracuda 383 automatic, one of 98. How many?
One of 749 made.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
I got that one wrong.
That's all right.
748, but who's counting? Don't try to.
That's okay. We make those mistakes.
I'm using under the hood for storage, but
Well, sure.
it's got a. I have this original motor. It's over there in the pile. This is out of a 68.
You
right
do have
now.
the numbers engine for it?
Yes, sir. I do.
The 1967 Barracuda Formula S, I think that is a great car for somebody. There are real diehard lovers out there that love these little A bodies, and that's a real live big block car. And he's got the original numbers matching engine, probably like the 4-speed we found for the Charger buried in mud, but at least it's there.
Is that the correct manifold?
Yes.
Boy, that'd be a good one to put together.
This is a fastback model car, and it's pretty clean. It's showing some signs of rust underneath the recent paint job that it had starting to pop up. But again, a very good restoration project for somebody and well worth the investment.
Well, and I made the mistake of ordering the copper penny carpeting for it.
Oh,
And it actually is supposed to have bronze carpeting in it with the copper penny seat covers.
gotcha. Two-tone interior.
Two-tone interior.
Very
So
pretty.
if I do it right, it'll actually look pretty good.
Oh, it'll
Just
look
haven't
real
got
nice,
that
yeah.
far.
It's got the 383 four-barrel with the Formula S emblem.
You actually texted me at the right time.
Yeah.
That wagon that's sitting up front is the 69 Ambassador wagon that my parents bought brand new.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool because that was his parents' car and he bought that at Grant AMC.
The one that my parents own is the wagon. It's a 1969 AMC Ambassador wagon. There's not very many left as far as I can tell, and they bought that brand new at Grand AMC in Eugene.
So when I hear names like Grant AMC, it takes me back to the 70s right now.
I am working to restore that and get it so that I can at least drive it again. I believe it has all of 116,000 miles on it.
It's a clean old car. So anybody out there in TV land that likes those AMC Ambassador wagons, that might be a good one for you.
344
rare.
speed Tour Red, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So some of the cars that I think are still worthy of salvaging, one is a car I've known about for many, many years. It's a 1970 Duster.
The one thing that I do know is a friend of mine, he said that he had the original motor for it.
Yeah.
It had an accident, it had a crack down the middle of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see into that motor.
It was garbage.
The factory 340 4-speed car. Now this car belonged to a couple of brothers when I first started my shop in 1985. It's had lots of modifications to it. The original engine isn't in it anymore. It also was harpooned in the side and had a bunch of mud work done to the left quarter. Still a good, valuable car for an A-body lover.
Is this a 70 or 71?
I think it's a 71.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
440 non-HP.
non-HP.
The other car that was really notable was this beautiful blue 1971 Chrysler four-door.
There's the L31s, Doug. You like L31s, don't you?
I do.
The L31 is the only sales code that Dougie remembers because the 70 Barracuda Grand Coupe had them.
So the code for fender blinker indicators is L31.
That's a neat looking indicator.
Uh-huh.
You see how low profile that is?
Yeah.
So to this day, the only sales code he knows is L31.
I had them on my car, so that's how I know what they are.
Do you know any other code?
No.
It would be interesting. Look at the transmission hump inside.
Flat?
Oh, yeah. It's got your favorite little cassette player on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You buy the car just for that.
I would.
I love the
interior.
seats. That's cool. Look at that.
Yeah.
Car. It's a nice old car. This would make Alyssa a great driver.
This would be an incredible driver for somebody who didn't have to have a muscle car, but wanted to cruise in the 70s in style. Got the cool interior.
Dual armrest.
That is so
I
cool.
don't think I've seen an interior like that.
No, I haven't either. No, you got to get into the Chryslers to get this type of material. The interior on this car is amazing. It's actually in really good shape. It's a velour, it looks like, type of insert with a really unique pattern to it. It's blue like the outside of the car. It's loaded with really neat options. It's got power windows, telescoping and tilt steering wheel, which is a really cool option. Makes it very, very comfortable. And it's the R36 AM FM cassette player from the factory. Okay.
A real freeway cruiser.
That trailer hitch.
Vintage
yeah.
trailer
Good one.
hitch.
That'll pull our trailer.
At the end of the day, it was a fantastic trip. I got to see some really cool cars, some I've seen before, some I haven't.
The Charger that I sold him, when he contacted me, I went out and looked at the car and had decided it was time to send it to a good home. The amount of rust and various things in it were starting to get worse, and I knew that if I didn't get rid of it pretty quick and send it to a good home, then there wouldn't be anything left to fix. I know he'll do a good job fixing it up, and I told him, I said, when you get it done, I want to ride.
We bought our 1969 Charger RT, 444 speed, B5 blue, and moved it down to the bottom of the hill. That's where our new tow truck was. Got it loaded up on there, said goodbye to Brian, and next thing you see is taillights. Hello Ghouls, Mark Warman here, the Ice Tray from Graveyard Carz. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. We have fantastic stuff coming up, and some of it you've never seen before. I gotta go insult people. Hey Alice!